It is 2024, which by all accounts means we are living in the future. I mean, think of all the movies that happened in the future. And yeah, we've passed most of them. Back to the Future 2. We're coming up on Running Man. That's next year. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. But is politics what's moving EVs? Is politics even affecting it? And how has that changed? Not so fast, you guys. It's not as bad as you think. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. A quick thank you to today's sponsor, Joa, who made this video possible. They provide an amazing array of third-party accessories for your Tesla. I have a bunch, I use them all, and every one of them that I've ever gotten is still in use in my car. That's true of all the accessories I've ever gotten because I'm very selective about it. Although it's coming into autumn, so I may be taking down the sunshade in the roof glass soon. Get 5% off with coupon code AZA. AZA or AZA5. I mean, who knows? Probably both. Yeah, check them out. They've got some pretty cool stuff. So yeah, I found this fascinating study published by AutoPacific. Let's just take a look here. Political influence on EV interest is waning, according to AutoPacific's study. Does this mean that politics, there was a time when you were definitely a big green if you bought an EV because they were expensive and inconvenient and not very good. Those times have changed. And there are people who say, well, I'm rich, I'm conservative, I'm whatever. I will only buy something that's super fast, like a Plaid or something exciting, a Rivian, a Lucid. So those are conflicting things. Are they? Or is it like I've been saying, politics is secondary? We don't need to talk politics, but here we are. According to data from AutoPacific's recent EV Consumer Insight study, political identity is still a factor in EV ownership, but it may be becoming less so in future acceptance. The study of over 12,000 EV owners, acceptors, and rejectors was conducted in June of 24 and investigates consumer sentiment regarding EVs, ownership, reasons, cost, all that. So new this year was that they had asked all the questions and also what's your political affiliation? Maybe there's some data there. Turns out there is. Findings reveal that 54% of current EV owners and 60% of hybrid owners identify as Democrat, with 30% and 26% for self-identified Republicans. Well, that's a clear correlation. You're twice as likely to own a hybrid, or really just about twice as likely if you're to own an EV if you're a Democrat. But that could have to do with where you live. The blue districts are where all the chargers are. If you live somewhere that doesn't have chargers, it's a little harder to get into them. And butts in seats are what sell them. So wherever they sell first is likely where they're going to sell best. Because if you've ever had a chance to drive a quality EV, you look at it and say, oh, this might be for me. Let me check out the pricing. But that's the past. That's not the future. Looking at future EV acceptors, those who say they either intend to get one or will consider getting one, the gap is much smaller. There is still a gap, but it's much smaller, 28% versus 24%. So that is, let's see, the gap between Democrats, less than half. So yeah, 28% Democrats, 24% Republican. That's good. So yeah, that's exciting. If we look at it here, you can see a chart. It's not great, but yeah, these are the rejection is higher among Republicans than Democrats, but it's not as high as it's been, and the spread is nothing like we're seeing among those who already own them. Politics are not to blame. Further investigation reveals that rejectors are becoming less concerned about it being about your politics and other things. So let's look at the reasons. We'll go through these. I think the time required to charge an EV is too long, 52%. That's the number one reason people don't want to buy one. Well, this is a matter of education. For most people, this number, this fact, if you wish to call it that, it's not a fact, it's a belief. And the belief is not borne out by data. You can always create a hypothetical situation where it will be not to your advantage to have an EV. But a more easy and more realistic one is I just commute. If you just commute, the charging time doesn't matter. You just plug it in when you get home and you never, ever use a supercharger or a public fast charger of any kind. So this is more about education. There's no place for me to plug in at home or work. Almost as many people concerned about that. Now, the reason these don't add up to 100 is because you are allowed to pick more than one. So there's no place for me to charge. That's a valid reason. I get it. If I didn't have a place to charge, I don't know that I probably would not own an EV, because what a hassle. Take it out, charge it, bring it home, leave it sitting there, think about the phantom drain. No, I don't know if I would want to do that. But I do have the ability to charge at home. Even before I got a 220 volt charger to charge it much more quickly, I just plugged it into the mobile charger through a 115 volt socket, which could add miles per hour, more than I needed almost always. I think I had to take it to one charger once, and it was because I had to do back-to-back trips to other towns over a course of back-to-back days. And 51% of people do have access to more than, this number's too high. More than half of American drivers have access to charging at home. So maybe they just think they need more than they do. Tough to say, but this is a real obstacle and I get it. Buying and operating is too expensive. Education time. No, it depends on the model, I suppose, but it can be cheaper. It doesn't have to be more expensive. It can be. I mean, you could spend $1 million and get a Rimac if you want, more than $1 million, but no one's telling you to do that. And at that point, you could spend over $1 million on a Bugatti. You could do that as well. And then skipping all the way down, in dead last out of 27 options was 8%. EVs are not aligned with my political beliefs. That's not bad. That is not a bad deal to do. I think that number will erode over time. But even if it isn't, okay, great. So 92% of owners could buy an EV next. 92% of all people who need a car could go electric. Leaving that last 8% out, great. I don't know what your political beliefs are that have technology in them, but okay. I don't get it. But it's not up to me to get it. People's political beliefs are theirs to have. So yeah, AutoPacific is a future-oriented automotive marketing, research, and product consulting firm, etc. So this is a pretty good bit of news, I'd say. There's a lot to unpack, and I think the good news is it doesn't matter what your politics are. You don't have to buy a Tesla if you don't like Tesla. You don't have to buy a Ford. You don't have to buy, they're coming from just about every brand now. Some are better than others, and some are terrible. But there's no reason to call out Mazda by name. So there's, some opportunities here, and the future doesn't have to be dim and grim and gruesome. We'll get through it. So what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? What is an objection you have heard to EVs that you actually consider legitimate? It's not the battery life. Those have gotten better, and the warranty is exceptional. The warranty is far better than it is on a gas engine. What is it? What's holding you back? Everybody else, like, subscribe, do the usual. You know what you're doing. Stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the next one.